we're really excited about this one, online school rentals. It's one that we've been working on for quite some time. So we're really excited about it. We're doing a big marketing push for it as well, really trying to let everybody know, about this tool that we have available. We do have a couple folks with us that are going to participate. Andy Wheeler, a lot of you may have worked with him. He works with he's a product manager, project manager. He's a PM. That project, I don't know, Andy could probably correct me, but he works with our product team, making sure that the system is doing what we want it to do. And so he's going to hop in. He's going to be kind of my backup here for questions that maybe I don't necessarily know how to answer. He'll be able to hop in and get things cleared. He'll clean up the mess that I make. So appreciate Andy hopping in. And then Shannon from Carl's music, Carl's Pro Band. I don't know why that was escaping me, but she's going to hopefully be joining us as well if I can figure out how to use Zoom appropriately. So she was part of, just to give everybody a little bit of context, she was part of kind of the initial closed beta group that was working on this and provided a lot of feedback on, what's working well, what's not working well, giving that direction to Andy and his team to kind of go back and retool where we need to. I will say, out of the box, the tool was pretty good, but certainly room for growth and improvement. And we're still taking that feedback. Andy can attest to that, but still seeing a lot of changes. To it as well, but the functionality is great. It's awesome, and we're really excited about it. So we'll hop into it. I do want to go over a couple. This is a lot shorter list than last time, so I'll try to keep this brief. For those of you who are utilizing Music Shop 360, you've seen a system prompt in your system to participate in a survey regarding vendor catalogs. That's going to be open through tomorrow, and you can see the web address there if you want to participate in that. That's really going to help us as we get a lot bit more aggressive trying to get these vendors to participate, trying to get you guys better catalog access. So take advantage of that if you can. If you haven't seen it, log into your system or just log into the system, and you should be prompted by that. Once you've cleared it out once, it doesn't show up again. So if you cleared it out the first time, didn't do it, and you still want to participate, you can go to this link here. Maybe I'll put this in the chat. That's probably a good idea. And then if you don't see that, then you can also actually just log in as a new user in your Music Shop 360 account, and you'll see that prompt again. Okay, so just be aware of that. But that prompt is going away for everybody tomorrow, and we're closing the survey tomorrow. But just a little update there. Upcoming webinars that we're going to be doing. We are really excited about an awesome integration that we have. I'll talk about it a little bit more in depth here momentarily, but we're going to do a webinar on our To-Do-Desk integration. And then we're also going to do a webinar on website optimization. If you saw the newsletter that went out, that's really kind of what I was trying to hit on is, we're in a pretty, I don't want to say a slow time, but a little bit more challenging time for retail just because everybody's so busy with summer. And so want to do a webinar trying to give some pro tips and tricks and best practices on how to get your website where you need to be so you can kind of expand that retail net as people are out on vacations and busy with kids and that sort of thing as well. So and then ultimately we want to make sure everybody's ready for the holidays. We have some really cool tools that are going to help out with that we have not spent a lot of time educating you guys on. So we'll do that as well. All right, back to the To-Do-Desk integration. Just so everybody is aware, we've partnered with a really fantastic software called To-Do-Desk. You can find it at tododesk.com. The one thing I would ask is if you go to tododesk.com, don't worry about submitting an inquiry, expressing interest there. If you have interest, just let me know, and then we can line up a demo for you and kind of show you how it works. But what it is, it's a really fantastic systems management or operations management or work order management is probably the right way to describe it, platform that is unbelievable. It's really, really fantastic. So we wanted to get that integration done so that those of you who are dealing with really high volume work orders, or you have a really intricate workflow that kind of the general work order system that's available natively in Music Shop 360, if you feel like you want some additional tools, then I'd really recommend taking a look at To-Do-Desk. The integration is almost done. It's done for, it would cover probably 90% of our customers. There's a handful of things that we need to get done to cover the remaining 10%. But that's well on its way, and it should be fully complete here within the next handful of weeks. So we're really excited about that. It's not the end of the world if you go on tododesk.com and submit a query there. That'll eventually make its way back to us, and we'll be able to kind of circle back on it and kind of show you how it works. But that's coming. We'll do a webinar on it. We're going to do some really big announcements on it as well. It's awesome. One other big thing that I just wanted to go over, and then we'll get into the content for today, is Slack. So for those of you who don't know, Slack is kind of an inter-office messaging tool that we use here at Music Shop 360. This is the very, very best way to get a hold of me. Calling is okay, emailing is okay, but those things kind of take a backseat to Slack, just because Slack is, I'm always on Slack. And so if you would like to connect via Slack, what you'll want to do is you'll want to go ahead and create a Slack account. There shouldn't be any cost to you for that. And then we can connect that way. So to get me on Slack, you'd want to input Taylor Harnoys at rainpos.com. That'll send me an invite for us to connect, and then then we can just kind of chat whenever you need help. So I have connected with a number of you, and it's really fantastic because as you guys query with something, I can get back to you real quick. If something comes up in the system that you need help with, I can get resolution streamlined for you as well. So just the very best way to get hold of me quickly is through Slack. So Taylor Harnoys at rainpos.com. And then of course you see my contact information there as well. Okay. So I really belabored that. I said I wasn't going to do it, and I did it anyway. This is the vendor catalog form. We've talked about that, so I'll clear out of that as well. And then I was also going to show you where these recordings go. So if you go to musicshop360.com and you want to go back and take a look at these webinars, they're found here. So it's musicshop360.com/tutorials. You can actually access that just from this header here. Go over to resources, click down in tutorials, and you can kind of see all the different videos we've done. Not all of these are webinars. Some of them are just me doing a demo of the system. So that's where you can find those. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So you should be able to see my screen here. I'm logged into the platform. What I would say, anytime you have questions that come up, please feel free to just go and pop those in the Q&A, and then we'll get to them when it's appropriate. But first things first, what I want to talk about is really kind of the why. Why did we come up with a new rentals tool? We had one previously. It's still available to you if you really like it. You don't want to do anything different. That's always going to be available to you. Maybe I shouldn't say always. That's currently available to you and will be for the foreseeable future. But this is really kind of the next advancement on online rentals. So what we saw is that in the marketplace, not just with Music Shop 360, but with other platforms, really popular platforms, and all the software that's available to retailers and school music dealers, is we found that there was a real need for a rentals management system that was going to be highly customizable. That you could customize for every school or teacher district that you work with, that made the shopping experience really easy for your renters, the students. Okay, there's a real lack of that available in the marketplace. And so we set out with the objective of providing this tool that is really going to streamline the process for your customers, your students. Okay. Also, a byproduct of that is when it's easier for the students, it's going to be easier for your ed reps. It's going to be easier for you. It's going to be easier for the districts. And so all of those things we kind of took into consideration as we developed this tool. It went through a really long development process. It went through a fairly long beta process as well to make sure that it's doing what we need it to do. And that continues, like I'd mentioned. Okay. So that's really kind of the why behind why we wanted to develop this. And then it's really facilitated. Sorry, I've got some notes here that I'm going to be referencing as well, but it's really facilitated by our cloud system. Okay. So unlike a legacy platform that you have to go through downloads and updates and that sort of thing, our system is live. And so we're able to go in and create these tools, push them out, and then you guys can utilize them. And because it also is cloud-based and it works with the e-commerce platform that we provide to you, it was really a no-brainer for us, right? Providing a better way for your customers to be able to sign up for the rentals on the website. So that's what this tool is. It's the online school rentals tool. Okay. Now, where you're going to find it, this is available to you today. This isn't an upgrade or anything like that. It's just available to everyone. And where once you've gone ahead and gotten it set up, or not set up, but you've turned it on in your system, you're going to see it right in here. So you'll come over to modules and you'll see online school rentals. Okay. So we'll go ahead and we'll pop it in here. Now this this kind of toolbar that runs horizontally here, or this menu here, this is really kind of how you get everything set up. Now, what I will say is that there's some setup that goes into this. Okay, you're going to want to make sure that you get this taken care of, and this is really going to dictate the customer experience for your students, your customers. Okay, so as we click in here, initially what you're seeing, these are all the schools that I have set up on this test account here. You can see their different statuses. So some of these I haven't pushed to the website. Some of them are on the website. You're going to see the status here, the school, the district, everything like that. You also have these filtering tools. Okay, so you're able to kind of parse it down as you'd like to see what you're doing in what district and that sort of thing. But that's the very, very kind of first step to this, is you're going to want to go ahead and get all of your schools in your district set up. Now, for those of you who use the rentals tool previously, it's just going to key off of the schools that you had set up previously. But just to show you where you can do that is you can click on this little button right here, this manage schools and districts. So as you do this, it's going to go ahead and it's going to take you in the settings, and it's going to position you right to where all the schools are set up. So you can see the system working here, and it's popped us right to where we need to be for the schools. So I have 4 districts set up. This is unlimited. You can have as many districts as you would like here. And then as you kind of carry it down here, you can see all the schools that are associated with that specific district. Okay. Now, to edit these, you can just simply hit the little pencil button, and this is going to give you a chance to go ahead and add more information here. I'm going to cancel this one out. We can kind of take a look at let's see, what am I doing here? There we go. Well, I think probably because I had it open up here, but Davis School District. So you can see how we edit this one. So I've got all the high schools of Davis School District here. I can add more. It's really easy. Just simply come in here and hit the check mark, and it's going to save it. And that's really kind of how you work with the schools and the districts. And that can be as detailed as you want it to be for all the different schools that you offer. And the reason why is because the districts and the schools, as you guys know, they're gonna have different requirements of the students. So the idea here is to make a rental package customizable for every district or school that you work with. Okay, so that's why we're building out the schools here. Now we do have a question. Looks like it was answered. Andy's doing a good job of taking care of these questions that come up. So let me know if those don't get answered, and we can address them here. But if you are asking questions, they should be answered via the Q&A there. Okay, so this is where you build out the schools. Okay, now scrolling further down here, you'll see this rental contract profile. So some schools have specific interest rates or fees and that sort of thing that you want to associate with those, and this is where you would be able to do that. So you can add different rental contract profiles. When you attach those to the types of rental packages that you get set up, it's then going to pump in the requisite information for that specific school. Okay. That's always unlimited as well. You can have as many different rental profiles as well. Okay. And then you can go ahead and you can set up your depreciation schedule here too. So these are all things that we can assist with as you're getting it set up. But yeah, that's essentially it as far as adding the schools. It's really, really straightforward on getting the school set up. Let me back up here. We're going to go back into the school rentals module here, and we'll continue to kind of work through these different things. Okay, so this is where all the schools are listed out here. Now we'll move over to categories. Now this is an interesting one. So categories, just so you know, this is different. This is just rental categories. So this is for those of you who are using the Music Shop 360 platform. This is not product categories. This is not website categories for your retail products. This runs independently of that. These are rental categories. Okay, so you can see I only have 2 set up here. Now, what I want to say here is this is unlimited. You can have as many different categories and subcategories and subcategories. So, for example, in band, if I wanted to make a subcategory of saxophones, I could do that. If I want to do a subcategory of sizing, I could certainly do that as well. What I want you to keep in mind is that all of these different category levels that you add here, these are clicks. These are going to be represented as clicks for your customers. Okay. So when they're navigating on the website, and I'll show you what that looks like here momentarily, every category you have and every subcategory becomes a click. So you've got a decision to make here, and maybe you can A/B test it. You can try some different things and see what flows best for your customers. As a general rule of thumb, the less clicks, the better. Okay. Now, that being said, I don't want you to shortchange yourself. You have access to add as many different categories as you would like here, and add a lot of organization to the way the rentals appear on the website. But do keep that in mind as your customers want to have a really quick process that they can go through. You'll get to decide if that quick process or that process would be made quicker by having more specificity here, or less specificity, less clicks. That that would be that for your customers. But this is all unlimited. You can have as many different categories here. These are all going to be represented on the website. Like I said, we'll kind of click in here. And I'll kind of show you as you get this set up. So the imaging, you're just going to want to have a smaller image here. This doesn't need to be anything too big. It's going to be relegated to a certain size on the website. So you don't have to worry about having like a really massive file here. JPEGs and PNG images are the best for this. But you will want to have an image here just to make the website look nice. So keep that in mind. But this is where you would add those top level categories. And then right over here, you can add your subcategories for this specific one. Okay. Looks like we have a question. Sandra says, my rental instruments are organized by individual serial number, and we are not currently using categories since our instruments have individual pricing based on where. Well, I need to reorganize a serialized inventory to make it work better with online school rentals. I'm unclear how the modules integrate if they do. It's a fantastic question. This is actually what we're going to get into next. Okay. So we'll head right into it. So rental products. Okay. So this is a big departure from the way that rentals has worked in the past. So the way the rentals worked previously is that it was going to associate a rental with a serial number right out of the gate. Okay. Which is not terrible, but certainly we wanted to give you more flexibility. And so the system allows for much more flexibility now. When you go in and you create a rental product, you'll do that right here. Now, keep in mind that the system, our lights just flickered. Like I said, we've got a pretty good storm going on. If this cuts out, I'm going to be really upset, but we might cut out. We're flickering here. So please be patient with me. I appreciate it. Okay. So again, a big departure from what we're doing. When you go and you create a rental product, like you're seeing on the screen here, these are what we refer to as kind of ghost or phantom products. They're not products that are tied to specific inventory. Okay. So again, this is a different kind of thought process here. Now, keep in mind, you can still continue to pull off of actual products if you want to. So you can see this little box here at the bottom, products to fulfill from. This is what you would utilize if you want the contract to be assigned a serial number right out of the gate. Okay, so this would draw down on your serialized inventory if you use it this way. And that's your choice. You can choose to continue to do it that way if you'd like, Sandra. What I would suggest is that this phantom inventory provides a lot more flexibility for you. What it means is you're just essentially creating a product that is doesn't necessarily have an associated quantity to it. Your customer will be able to go on the website and say, I want to rent a saxophone from you. And you can have your various conditions there, but for your fulfillment, you'll be able to assign the serial number at the time of fulfillment rather than having the system dictate which serial number is going out. Okay. So a lot more flexibility here. Okay. Andy, maybe I'm going to call on you on this one. Maybe you can, I don't know if I talked about that sufficiently, but I don't know if you want to input anything there, maybe kind of the idea behind this or best practices on this at all.
So the title that I would, or the title and description that I would recommend would be just, whatever's going to communicate the basics of the instrument the best to the parent is the one who's usually going to be looking at this on the website. So, if you have a student rental violin 3/4, something like that would be a good title and then a description of what that would be and how it might be fulfilled, that kind of thing. So, and Taylor's going to get into how the fulfillment can work and stuff like that in a little bit down below, but these can either be tied to physical inventory that you have, or can be like a virtual product, so just kind of a catch-all title for that particular instrument. So I would do a unique title for each major type of instrument.
Okay. Perfect. But again, that's going to be your choice, right? You'll be able to choose at the shop level how you want to make this offering to your customers, whether you want it to draw on actual inventory right then and there, or if you want the flexibility of going and assigning a serial number after the contract has come in. Okay. So you can see as we go in and we build out a product here, I've got this one. This is just an example. I've called it a cello. You'll want to put more product descriptions in there than what I have. This is where you can assign the different profile as well. You can go ahead and you can associate the different kind of taxes that you want to attach to the rental. And then you can have rental imaging. I think you can have up to 6 rental images or images for the item here. Okay, I've only got 1 on this one. That's fine. But again, the more you can spruce this up and make it look nice for your customers, I think the better. And then you do have the ability to come in here and select conditions. So Sandra, that was part of your question is, look, you rent cellos, yes, but we have different kind of subsets of that. Like we have brand new ones that we'll put out for rent, or like new ones, mint. Excellent. You can see the different examples I sent here. Again, these are all things that you will get set up and decide how you want to run these. They can have different rental pricing. So a lot of flexibility on that front as well. These are all options. Just keep in mind that as you create these are all options that are going to be made available to your customers on the website. So if you're saying, hey, we do offer what we would consider used or poor rental items here, that's what your customers are going to see. So keep that in mind. Okay. Also, it does, talking about sizing, if you want to run options, you have the ability to do that as well. So if the option here was size and you did 3/4 or whatever the case might be, you can have as many different options here as you would like to. And those will be presented to the customer on the website. Okay. All right, good. So this is where you're going to go back in and you're going to set up all of your different type of rental products. Okay, so that's really kind of the very, very first step, is setting up the different products that you want to be have made available to your customers. And then you're going to move over into the rental builder. Again, Andy, if I'm skipping anything here, you want to hop in and add context, please feel free to do so. But so this is where it gets really cool. Okay, so this is some really nice stuff here. So this rental builder, what you're going to do is you're going to come in here, and this is going to pull off of the products that you have created as rental products, or it will search store inventory as well. And you can kind of see them distinguished here. So I don't have any retail products called cello. I only have the rental product that I have created here. And you can see it's popped it up here. Okay, so the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to select the product. You can go ahead and identify the category. As you guys remember, I only have the 2 set up here. So I'm going to call this an orchestra product. This is something we added fairly recently. And again, what you're doing here is you're setting up a rental package. So this may be something that applies just to one school. You'll associate it with the school here momentarily. I'll show you how to do that. But just keep that in mind here, is you're actually building out a rental package that you want to offer on the website. Okay, so you've got some payment start date options here. Now, this is what I really love. So required add-ons and optional add-ons. What's the difference, right? So again, it's all about presentation to the student as they're renting on the website. So neither of these are actually required. We might want to think about maybe renaming that required add-ons, but because maybe it'll cause a little bit of confusion, but none of these are actually required of the customer at the checkout. When we say required, what we're saying here is that the district or the school has identified, if you want to participate in this class and you're playing the cello, you need to have this book. Okay. And so we're going to present that to the customer as a required item. Now, maybe that customer, their sister, their sibling went through the same class last year and they have a hand-me-down book. They don't need to buy it from you. That's totally fine. They're not going to be required to buy it online, but we do want them to know that, hey, this is what the school or the district has identified you need to have for the class. Okay. Now we also want to give some add-on capability, some optional or recommendations. Those would fall under this optional add-ons. Okay. So this is actually going to draw off your inventory. So for example, if there's a stand that I wanted to recommend, then I can go ahead and I can just search my inventory. And then if there's, we'll say that there's a book associated here as well, I'm going to put that under the required one. So the potential customer knows, hey, for your school, they're saying you need to have the Superstart Cello book. And these are all unlimited. You can have as many different add-ons here as possible. Okay. So again, this is a package that's going to be unique to a school. All right. And you can have, if it's the same package that's going to go to multiple districts, then that's totally fine too. You can have it push out to as many of those districts as you want. You can kind of see them listed here on the right-hand side. Okay. Now, I was talking to one of our favorite customers or users of the Music Shop 360 platform, Mike over at American Music in Canelli Keys up in the Pacific Northwest, up in the Seattle area. And they're doing something a little bit different here. So one of the challenges that they've always dealt with is sometimes the schools don't tell them till very, very late in the process what the products are going to be, right? What the required add-ons are going to be, or what the teachers want the students to have. So they have a general idea, like Mike and his team have a general idea of what books are going to be utilized. So they'll actually add multiple books here. Right now, the student's going to know what book they actually need, but Mike's team they felt really like it's going to be in their best interest. Hey, let's throw in a couple of books on there that we've seen them use in the past, and then they'll have an idea, but they'll be able to just kind of go ahead and select there. So the reason why I thought that was a cool idea is because I'm sure a lot of you are in a similar situation where you don't exactly know what is going to be required from the school. So if that's the case, we'd recommend putting a handful of books on there and saying, hey, these are all suggested. Right. Take what you want or purchase what you want. Okay. It's a really good upsell opportunity as well. So we'd really recommend having your, whatever good add-ons or accessories that the customer is going to need, get those added right here. Okay. Now I want to move down to this rental, shipping, and pickup options. Okay. This is also something that's new. You can see you've got some different options here. So you're going to decide here what you want to offer to your customers. So you can say, hey, we'll ship this to you. You can come in and pick it up at store, or we're doing school nights, or we're going to do some deliveries to the school. Okay. Now, the only way this is going to show up for the student is if you've gone ahead and in the school information, you've put the school address and contact information and that sort of thing. Okay. So in order for this to show up for the customer, you need to make sure you have that intact as well. Okay. But you're going to go ahead and decide what options you want to make available for the customer on the website. Now, once you've got your package built out here, we'll go and we'll select a number of these. Once you've got the package built out, you can come over here and decide this specific package, this cello with this start date of payments and these required add-ons and these delivery options. These are going to apply to Lehigh. This is going to apply to Lone Peak. Where's Davis High? That's my alma mater. I've got is that what we call it? High school alma mater? I know we do for college. I thought I had Davis on here. How could I leave out Davis? There we go. Yeah. So you can decide what schools you want to go to. Another option that you have here is you could actually assign it to all the schools if you want to do that. And then on the back end, you can kind of go back and take them out later if you want to do more customization. So really, whatever way you feel like is easiest for you, you can go ahead and decide that. But again, what you're telling the system here is, hey, this specific package, I want to make it available for someone who is attending Davis High School or Lehigh or Lone Peak in this case. Okay. Any questions on that? That's a lot to take in. Sarah says, is there a way to Andy's done a good look at that. These things are just dropping off because Andy's getting to them real quick here. So Sarah's got a good one though. Is there a way to delete those packages to schools as a group? It's very tedious to go into each school or delete or adapt those packages. We have 44 schools that we're working with. Yeah. So some of the nice things are you can do a lot of this in bulk. Andy, can you answer that one? Actually, give a little bit more detail there. I don't know if you see the question, Andy.
I see it. Yeah.
Okay.
So what some stores are doing is they'll create a package that has options for all the schools, that everything that they possibly might need. And then they'll just go into the schools and remove things that they don't need individually. So that's one way to do it. Like some school districts might have certain groups of things that they'll require, and you know, all of their classes at the same level might have the same book they need, that kind of thing. So so there are ways to do it where, you know, you're just checking boxes for all the schools, putting all the items in, and then going into the schools tab of the module there over on the left, and editing them down for what each specific school might need. So you know, you can do it that way. I guess it just depends on how different the items are that the schools are requiring. So, you know, for some stores that approach might not work.
Yeah. And this is where you were talking about. So like if you've pushed something to a specific school and you want to update it, you can come into that school and you can manage it and see what you have available here, and decide if you want to either edit or just remove it entirely. Okay. So it certainly is all editable after the fact. And then you'll just decide whatever process flow is going to be best for you to take care of those as you would like. Okay. I do want to move on to the agreement information. This is also pretty cool. This is all supplementary information, and then you'll see this as we kind of go through the flow on the actual website, the test site that we have set up, and you'll see kind of how this plays in here. So there is some information here. You can see them. They're kind of grayed out. This is information from the customer that we're going to be collecting inherently when they go complete a web order with you. Okay. So we're getting their contact information, billing address, things of that nature. That's all standard. Okay. But from that point, you can add whatever fields you would like. So on this test site, what I've created is I want to collect 2 references. Okay. And I want to collect their name, their phone, and their email. You could certainly condense these to one line. So if you just wanted to say, hey, let's just give a single line of text, input name, phone number, email, you could certainly do that. But I built it out all the way through and kept them separate. So you can add whatever custom fields that you want here. Okay. So this is great. So you can see that we do have some standard ones built out that you can, you know, they're already kind of configured for you. So you're not having to say, hey, this is a drop down box or a single line or what have you. They're already configured appropriately. So you can see those here. You can just simply click those and it will add them to the kind of the required fields. But then on this bottom one, this custom field, essentially what that does is that allows you to title it what you want. And then you also dictate what type of input the customer needs to put in here. Okay. And then you can see you've got a required field here. So you can make these optional if you want to by leaving those unchecked. And that's really, again, you can decide how you want to do that. Okay. So this has been really nice. It allows you, again, just a lot more customization as far as the information that you want to collect. The other cool thing is this is actually all going to populate on the customer's card. Okay. So when you come over to your customers and you look up the customer, this information will be stored on their customer account with you. Okay. So if there's information you want to collect here that's going to go on kind of their record with you, then you'll want to go ahead and input those here as well. Okay. You can kind of see what that's going to look like. We have a little preview field here so you can see what that's going to look like on the website. Okay. So these are all things that you'll want to set up before you actually start publishing these to your site. But I do want to show you what it looks like from that point of view. Let me move this Zoom prompt is kind of in my way here. So let me get this moved out here, but then I'll show you. And then if I can do this easily, I'm logged in here. Let me actually, you know what? I'm going to log out, and then it should take me just to the demo site. Okay, so this is just a test site. This is not a live site. So just keep that in mind. But where I've placed the school rentals on this test site is right here, right in the mini bar. We can work with you to get this placed where you want to have it placed, but essentially you need to have a place for your customers to go to where they can start filling out their rentals. Okay, so they'll click into school rentals. Maybe I don't have it set up there. Oh, there we go. Okay, there it is. All right. So the way that this is going to work through the process flow is they'll come in, they'll decide which district. So just keep in mind, I did have Davis School District, but it's unpublished. So that's why it's not showing up here. Okay. So the cool thing is you can go build all that out. And then when it's ready to go, you'll publish it and we'll populate it in here. But I didn't do that for Davis. I already have these other school districts in here. So that's fine. We're in Nebo School District at my house. So we'll go and we'll select Nebo here. The customer's then going to hit next, and then they'll have a drop down to decide what school. Okay. My kids are going to be going to Springville, and then they'll go ahead and the customer will enter their name. So we'll call this our webinar test here. Okay. That's a terrible middle name. All right. So at this point, we'll go and we'll start the rental. You can see I've only got 2 categories set up here. I've got a couple images. You can set these up how you would like, but this is, again, you're going to decide on the number of clicks you want to give to your customers before they're picking their instrument. So we'll move into band here. And then for this specific school, Springville High School in the Nebo School District, this is what we offer. Okay. Again, this is going to be a lot more expansive for you guys. You're going to put all the instruments that you want to make available. But as they click into it, they'll be able to see the different options that you want to make available. I didn't have any different sizes, but I did have conditions. So in this case, my renter, they'll be able to see there's a different price for these different conditions. Maybe I'm a cheap dad and I know my kid's going to be flunking out of band. So I'm going to just go poor because I don't want to pay $15, more than $15 a month for my kid who's not going to continue on. So maybe that's bad. That's negative. My kid's going to be great. He's going to be first chair. We're getting a brand new one for him. Okay. So $30 a month. You can see that all changed by the selection there. Now, one of the other cool updates that we've done is we want to make it really, really clear to your customer what they're paying for. Okay. So with this profile that I have set up for this renter, they're going to be paying $30 a month. I'm requiring a $50 security deposit, and I'm also requiring a $50 down payment. Okay. Tax is going to be determined at the checkout. Okay. They'll go and they'll add to cart. Now, this is where they're going to get that hit with that prompt. Okay. So because you're renting the tenor sax at Springville High School, you're going to need the saxophone basics. And then we also suggest that you add these products as well. Okay. Again, this is all based on the information that I've set up in the rental in the rental package. Okay, so it's going to appear different for every school or however you guys want to get it set up there. And again, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to give them a summary so they can see what they're paying for. It's going to default to 1 on these, but they can come in and say, hey, I need 5 cloths here. I don't need the stand, and maybe I need 3 oils. Okay, and you can see it's going to change the cost here as they work through this. That's fantastic. Now you'll just hit next. Now this is where they're going to go ahead and they're going to input their rental, the required information. This is the supplementary information that we're requiring from them before they actually go and they start paying. So I only had the 2 references set up, and that's signifying these 2 dots here. They're moving through the different screens. Once they fill this out and this is complete, they'll hit next, and it's going to pump this product into their regular shopping cart. Okay. They can continue to shop on your site, pick up other products, do another rental, really whatever they're doing. It's going to tabulate those and push those into the shopping cart. Okay. So that's kind of what the web flow looks like. Now I've got this really kind of dumbed down and basic. Yours are going to be a lot more extensive. You're going to need to make a decision on how you want these to show up in your different categories. Maybe, when I select band, I want to have a French horn category, and then they're going to have different options there. Really, again, that can all be dictated by what, the online experience that you want your customers to have. A couple of questions that we have about this. Okay. So when a customer goes in and they complete a web order, it's going to capture and tokenize the card information, and they're going to be pumped into the automated billing system that we have. Okay. I'm going to go in. I'm going to show you what's going to happen when they complete a rental contract on the website is that those are then going to populate when you come down here to your rental contracts. Okay. You'll be able to see them here, whatever status they're in. If they're in pending, you need to assign a serial number and that sort of thing. They'll all populate right here. You can open them up and you can kind of see all the details. This is all going to be populated based on what they filled out on the website. This is an admin view. This is you looking over all the rental contracts that have come in. Okay. And so you're able to kind of see everything here. And this is, where you can, again, come in and assign the serial number if you'd like to do that. And that sort of information. So as much information as they've input, it's going to populate right here as well. But you'll be able to see the auto pay will be turned on, and it will have their primary card added here. The customer can also manage that from their website portal. When they go onto their customer portal, they'll be able to see their cards on file. They can upload driver's license imaging if you want to have them do that. They'll be able to see all that. Okay. So that's a basic rundown of kind of this new tool, the online version of this offering. Do want to leave some time. We've got a couple questions that have come in. Same fraud protection as usual, order fulfillment. Yep. And looks like Andy's handling that. Jennifer asks, can that rental contract view be sorted via district school sales rep? So that's a good question. I don't, Andy, do you know the answer to that? Andy's typing it out.
So you can, that renters filter that's on the right up there will let you look at just school renters. But it's not possible to filter by school district or school for the contracts right now
at this time. Okay.
Yeah.
But it does allow you to distinguish between a school renter and just kind of maybe you have an adult who comes in, they just want to rent a guitar or something like that, or something. So you can distinguish that way, but no filtering for school and district at this time. Down the road, we'll get there. Couple more questions coming in.
Taylor, I wanted to add something that didn't end up displaying when you were running through the web checkout. In the settings for rental contracts under POS settings, there's an area to put in online terms and conditions.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And if you've put that in, actually before it shows you the add-on step, it'll pop up a window showing those terms and conditions. It won't let the customer proceed until they check to agree to those terms and conditions. So that will be there for you automatically if you have those terms and conditions in place.
Yeah. And you can kind of see that right here. So again, I just didn't have that set up on the on that test site, but yeah. So to Andy's point, you'll go in, you'll have your terms and conditions, essentially the fine print of the contract that's going to populate as they're going to check out. They'll need to agree to that in order to complete the contract, right? And so then their payment and contract is established and they're good to go. But yeah, that's a very good point. Thanks for supplying that information, Andy. Okay, a couple more questions. We can probably handle these ones live, Andy. Can the rental contracts be exported?
Yeah, that is something that we're working on. It can't do it right now, but this is a request that we've had from several stores. So that is something that will be in process. We don't, it's not anytime super soon, it'll probably be a little more than a month before we have it, but it's on the way.
Okay. Can you make school delivery optional for specific schools? We only deliver certain schools. Yes, absolutely. So that's one of the great things about it is you can make that unique to specific schools. Yeah. Because of our volume, that would be very helpful. You're talking about the reporting functionality to see specific districts and schools that way. I agree. Yeah, that'd be very helpful for everyone, I think. So
in the rental contracts page, there's not a way to filter by district and school, but
oops,
you can go to
on
the
the reporting
report
side
for rental contracts and filter there. So
yeah, you do have that. See, Mike's great. At some point, I think Mike's happily employed, but at some point, I think we might need to poach him.
We're gonna have to poach him. Definitely.
Yeah, I think we might. Is there a way to collect an online signature for terms and conditions? Not right now. So they're not providing a. You could certainly have a field where that you can require them to type, as one of those options that you set up where you saw me input like required references and that. You'd certainly put a field saying digital signature or something like that, and they could type out their name. But there's not. And to be honest with you, the terms and conditions coupled with them paying for the contract has been pretty binding. Like there hasn't been this overwhelming ask to have digital signature for that. I understand why you want to have it, but the terms and conditions that they opt into, as well as the payment of the contract, has been very good for establishing the legitimacy of that contract.
We are looking at ways of integrating digital e-signatures with it, but we don't have anything like that in place yet.
So coming, but not today. This is a good one, Karen. What would stop a customer from renting and then going in and removing their card information? So they can remove their card information on the website, but it's still tokenized on the contract.
Yeah, it tokenizes to the contract, and even if they remove the payment method, the contract will still keep that tokenization. So they can change to a different one through the website login if they need to use a different card. But yeah, it'll tokenize it to the contract.
The other cool thing to keep in mind there too is sometimes cards expire or the person moves and the billing information doesn't line up anymore. The system is really proactive about letting a customer know that they have an upcoming payment and that maybe there's not a card on file or a payment didn't go through. System does a pretty good job of that. With the latest kind of offering of Rain Payments, our integrated merchant processing, there's a really cool feature that they have where the new card information, let's say a card has expired, the new card information is actually passed along via the card issuer. Okay. So that's a really cool feature as well. But again, that's kind of on the latest version of the payments offering. So, but the system does really good proactively reaching out to customers, make sure we've got current good billing information. Will a copy of the contract be emailed to the let's see. Will a copy of the contract be emailed to customers, or are the terms and conditions the only opportunity for them to see what they're agreeing to? Sorry, I'm deferring to Andy on all these.
So yeah, so on that one, they do receive, of course, the email about the web order. One of the things we're in process improving about that, I think this part we actually did when they first sign up for the recurring payments to that, an email about, this is what each payment's going to be. This is when it's going to come out each month. That's all sent to them in an initial email when they start their contract now. We don't have the contract itself going out. You can print those up or email them to the customer from the rental contract module when you're viewing the contract if you want to. But the terms are very clear when they first sign up for that. It's likely in the future we'll probably automate that and give you the option of sending out the contract or not. We have had other requests for it. So
it is available to email. It's just not automated.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jennifer, you asked if there's other statuses besides draft and active. So you can kind of see I've pulled up that menu here. You can see those. There is one that's coming as well, called collections, and you can talk about that one, Andy.
Yeah. So first, the ones we have, the pending one, you won't see that unless you use the authorization method of checkout on the website, which leaves the payment open until you click to collect it from the orders area. So the contract will come in that pending state and be waiting for that. We are working, actually, Mike there at Kennelly Keys and American Music requested that we make a status for contracts that we think is going to help a lot of stores that will allow you to essentially close the contract, but still continue collecting on it. And that lets you, return the instrument and make it available to rent again, but doesn't just close the contract and stop trying to collect. So the new status will be called collections, or at least that's our working title.
This is David. Yes. So the emails, yes and no. There's standard verbiage that goes out for the automated ones that we've set up. We are certainly open to suggestions. But because it's an automated tool that's in use for really all the user base, there needs to be, those are probably a little bit more generalized. So I don't know how specific we can make it. But certainly we can take some feedback from you if there's stuff in those automated ones that you'd like to have added. And then you're always free in the system to go and email customers directly from the platform as well. You can all do that through your own email client too. And obviously you've got full control over what goes out there. Okay. Andrea, this is a cool question. So the screen shows standard and school rentals. Where do I set up standard rentals? We have several customers who rent outside of school. Yes. So we're not killing the regular rental process, right? So we do also understand that you've got renters, just like how you're talking, Andrea, you've got renters who are not students. So yeah, those are still going to live in the system, and the system will differentiate those for you. So you'll just do that kind of how you've got those set up previously. They're not moving. They're going to be in the same spot. You can kind of see, you can get rental contracts here as well. Oops, I'm sorry. Sorry, I've got all these prompts in my way. You do those from the customer card, or you can do it in the register to set up a rental that way. And then the same setup for the online rentals that we had previously is going to be made online. It's not going to go through the same school rental flow. I'm not answering this question very well, Andy.
So, yeah, the older version of online rentals that we have will generate standard ones. It doesn't have a step in there, I believe, to collect school information. But any contract you start through the register, when you start the contract, if you save school information, it'll show up under that filter. If you don't save school information, it will be a standard rental. So you kind of decide which is standard and school. Yeah, we can show you how to set up both the older online rentals that are more general and online school rentals, and have those in different areas of your website if you're wanting to capture them that way.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. Like, this is kind of a general webinar. Any specific questions, or you feel like you have got kind of a unique use case or business case, I'm certainly happy to spend some time with you. And when Andy's available, I know he's always more than willing to chat with folks as well. So we can certainly kind of coordinate some one-offs and do some individual training. This is a new tool. Our support team is pretty good up to speed on it, but anytime you need additional help, always feel free to reach out. Always feel free to reach out to me directly, and we can get something coordinated for you specifically. Can you show us what it looks like to have a general instrument condition available for rent and then fulfill it with a serialized instrument afterward? I can't on this website because I don't have it all the way set up through. Andy, on your test site, you may have the ability to do that, but on this one, I don't have the checkout process set up all the way through.
So the article, I think, has some screen captures of that if you want to look at that.
Yeah. I should have just left these pulled up. I had them all pulled up, and
so it would be part 7, the website customer flow and inventory fulfillment step.
Okay. Why don't I put this in the chat? And hopefully everybody's seeing that. Again, you'll have to.
So if you scroll down, though, we can show it kind of on the screen down below the video. That first image is showing you what came through for the web order, which delivery method they chose, what store is going to be facilitating the rental, and the delivery address, or actually that's the store address, and who the customer is, and the item that they're renting. And then you can change the store location if you need to. Like if this customer, if you look at the order and it's going to be a different address, and one of your other locations would need to do the service on this contract, you can change the location. If you scroll down, the next step, once you've chosen the location, is you find the specific product that's saved to the store. And if you don't have, like, if you have a whole bunch of products that have come from multiple locations and stores and just you're fulfilling contracts all at once, if you choose a product that you have in your hand that's actually saved as inventory for another location, you can if you choose that product, it will transfer it automatically to the location that's going to be servicing the contract. So it'll handle all that for you. The next step is choosing which serial number would be in the contract, and then once all that's chosen, you're able to you'll confirm those choices and then start the contract. So and we have actually, since this article went up, expanded the information that goes in that online school rental item info. We have delivery address and I think payment method and a bunch of other useful stuff in there. So
Perfect. Hey, nothing makes for a better webinar than scrolling through screenshots. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
No, that's my fault. I should have thought that we were probably gonna want to show that. Yeah, on that test, I don't have it connected to an actual fulfillment, so I apologize for that. But good to see it. So, okay. Is it possible to create a quick link that goes straight to a school district or school pre-chosen? Yes, you could. Kind of. As you set up your categories. So it talks about this actually in these help articles that you can kind of work through. But you can set up specific teachers even. You can make all that available. Just be aware that, I think the operative term there is quick, right? So those every layer that you add to those categories is another click for your customers. But that's going to be that format is probably the best way to accomplish kind of what you're looking for, where they could click into that. Again, Andy, feel free to add.
One of the steps in that checkout process is putting in the student's name, and that's after the school selection. So really letting the customer drill down and get to those categories is going to be ideal. And as you're building those rental packages for each school and customizing those, the system's just going to manage all that and channel your customers to the proper one. So right now, I would recommend against a direct, separating out categories specifically by school manually when you're setting up your categories. I would just organize them generally by either class type or major instrument type, like your strings and your brass and other things.
Okay. Lisa, so Lisa's and we are out of time, so we're going to get to I'll answer Lisa your questions, then we'll need to end here. And then, like I said, let's connect. Feel free to email me, Slack me, call me, and we can answer any additional questions. Okay. So Lisa, I'm going to make an assumption here. You know what they say about assumptions, but I'm going to make one. So what we've run into a lot in the industry is that there are these really big rental companies out there that essentially a store will say, hey, we do offer rentals. We actually do fulfillment though through this rental company, right? I don't know if that's what you're alluding to. So the questions are, you do not have and ship the instruments, and the store owner has to have instruments in their store, right? I don't want to give directive one way or the other on this. What I will say is keep in mind that the products that you're creating in this give you the chance to run phantom or virtual products, meaning I don't want to. So, I got to be really careful on what I say.
Yeah, actually, I think I can answer this one, Taylor. You don't have to have the instruments in your store when you're fulfilling the order. If you do that through a third party or something, however you fulfill it from your end can be worked on, as long as in the system it can find that serial number. So you've got to have it somewhere in the system saved as a product and a serial number in order to fulfill. So we don't care how it gets from wherever it happens to be to the customer. That can be a school delivery. It can be shipped through the normal way. It can be store pickup. But it is going to list, if it's a pickup situation, it's going to list the address of the store that you have saved in the system. So,
but you can offer shipping only, right? You don't have to make
it can just be shipped.
Yeah. The only thing I would suggest there, Lisa, is just be really, really cautious with making promises to customers that you may or may not have a difficult time fulfilling. Meaning, I don't know how much control you have over these third-party renters, right? So I don't know if you say, "Hey, we've got somebody who's just done a contract for XYZ flute. Let me go check to make sure I can get that from this vendor." I could see that leading to some difficult conversations with customers. So just be really cautious of that. Again, you're the store owner. You're going to do what you feel like is best for your business, but just be cautious of that. Okay. We do have some additional questions. I'm going to notate them down and then I'll reach out specifically to those. Want to thank everybody for hopping in. I know we've gone a little bit over. We will continue to look forward to answering questions. And if you have any additional questions, again, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Thanks everybody for your time. Hope you have a great rest of the afternoon.